Hey, what is going on, guys? It is your self-proclaimed mediocre Pokemon master here, Tiggly man. And today the video is going to be a bit different. I kind of wanted to do an informal video on the event that's going to be going on, well, the competition that the Pokemon Company is hosting. It is the 2020 International Challenge for February. I'm sure you guys heard of the Galar Beginnings, the Galar Newcomer competitions that were hosted by them. And they were fun, but they didn't really award a whole heck of a lot. Now we have this challenge coming up, and it awards CP. So if you're looking to get into a real competitive aspect of Pokemon and get your points to go towards VGC Worlds, this is going to be one of the ways to do it. Before we fully get into this, I want to let you guys know that if you are considering this competition, make sure you take the time to look up and link your Nintendo and Pokemon account, because I believe you have to do that to receive CP for placing in this event. So let's kind of look this over and see what we got going on. The registration will start February 19th to 27th. Don't forget it. Don't miss out on it. And then we're going to battle from February 28th to March 1st. And it's the typical, if you played the other online competitions, 15 battles per day. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the whole point laddering system. And Galar Pokedex, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, the 50 championship points. So with the large Gigantamax Pokemon, it's the same Season 2 stuff. The Charizard, Butterfree, Chew, Meowth, Eevee, Snorlax, Corviknight, Dreadnought, Sandaconda, and Centis Scourge. So I'm really curious to see what everyone's going to be rolling up with, see if there's going to be any new techs or if it's just going to be some standard VGC stuff. I think standard VGC is going to be what's going to be working out, but I really hope to see some top 10 players that really roll up with some mean new teams. Without further ado, guys, let's move on. I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not yet, but I am in a draft league. It is called the Everybody Draft League, the EDL. We are going into our season 2, and I kind of wanted to go over all my drafts for season 2. Season 1 was a little bit of a flop for me, just for the fact I kind of did like this Buzzwole, Venusaur, Rotom Heat core, and it kind of forced me to roll up with like the same 6 Mons nearly every match, just because they were the best ones, and coincidentally, just against every team looked the best. So it was kind of lame. Sincerely, I had a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun, but I was really hoping to use some of the mons that I picked, but they just didn't hit the cut with the power creep with Magearna and Greninja and stuff like that. Just wasn't quite there. Without further ado, my very first pick was Slowbro Mega. I got knocked for this in the league, just because, you know, Mega Slowbro, typically not really the Mega that's picked. I should have picked something more aggressive, but as soon as this draft started, I was like, I got Mega Slowbro on my mind, and I couldn't pass it up. You know, I just had to do it. Mega Slowbro was on the mind. I picked them right away, which wasn't the best idea, but I love Mega Slowbro, and I thought it was the best idea, and I still believe it was the best idea. So let's hope we can put in work with him in this league. So I picked Mega Slowbro because he holds a place like near and dear to my heart. He was one of the first mons that I built a team around in the OU ladder for Gen 7 that allowed me to break 1500. I was stuck in the high 1400s for a minute. And yeah, it was like the highest I've ever been on the ladder. I peaked at like 1594, and I kind of started to slow down on an OU and get ready for Gen 8 to release, because I felt kind of weird putting all this time into Gen 7 when I knew I was going to put more time into Gen 8. So I kind of took a little bit of a break, and then got ready for Gen 8. But we picked Mega Slowbro because of his versatility. His versatility is fantastic. With him learning Slack Off and Calm Mind, Slack Off will allow him to recover 50% of his HP. Where is it? Slack Off right there. Heals user by 50% of its max HP, and it also learns Calm Mind. Now this is fantastic too, because now Calm Mind sweeps aren't too common because you lose a lot of momentum Calm Minding, and you can usually get critted while you are Calm Minding, but this is fantastic because we have Shell Armor, which will completely negate crits, so I don't have to worry about any sort of RNG rolls when I get smashed by somebody. And his defense is 180, HP 95, so that's fantastic. We can set up on nearly any non-super effective physical attacker. Spadef is 80. That's a bit low. It's not super low, but for the overall, you know, this Mon being slow, that's low. But after one Calm Mind, that base 80 goes up to 120, and it snowballs pretty fast. If it forces a swap, I get 2 Calm Minds off, I Slack Off, boom, that's game. Unfortunately, he's very, very weak to Toxic, but it's maybe nothing a Safeguard can't fix if I choose to go that route, or setting up a Misty Terrain if I choose to go that route, which I doubt, but those are things to consider. So again, bulky defensive pivot, Calm Mind Sweeper, or Trick Room Setter, and he's great at all 3 of them. On to the next mon. I picked Zero Aura because Slowbro has a very well-known electric weakness. Everyone's going to try to Thunderbolt him. If you try to Thunder Punch him, who cares? His base defense is 180. He's so bulky, super effective physical attack isn't really typically going to 2-hit KO him. Typically. The power creep in this game is pretty intense with this being national dex, so I will probably be pleasantly surprised. But we have Zero Aura with Volt Absorb, giving us a complete electrical immunity. And we also picked him because of his fantastic speed tier. The majority of my draft picks aren't typically too quick, so he's going to be a fantastic mon to run Orbed, Banded, or Scarfed, or if I decide to do like Shaka or something, to really, truly use him as a good pivot in case someone predicts him coming out in Earthquakes, you know? But, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I can Thunderwave to cripple people. I get the close combat because I don't have a whole lot of fighting on my team, but I get close combat. Plasma Fist is fantastic. And, yeah, enough said. Zero Aura, fast pivot, good defensive synergy with the Slowbro. Next up, I had a third-round pick on Rotom Wash. I feel like this was probably my best pick timing-wise and mon-wise. Rotom Wash really doesn't deserve too much of an explanation. He's been a menace since he's existed in Gen 5, and he's put in so much work for me. There's not too many OU teams I did in Gen 7 that did not run Rotom Wash, and the ones that didn't run Rotom Wash typically didn't perform as well as the ones that did. As long as he has the right mons to complement his typing, he really puts in work. With the base 50 HP, not too crazy, but you do max HP and you start getting the defenses, you could see his defense is high, and he will eat hits like crazy. Defensive Rotom Wash is my personal favorite, but I wanted a nice, harder hitting water type in case for whatever reason I didn't want to bring Mega Slowbro, you know. But again, he's got a ground immunity. Electric's neutral, but we have Zero Aura to fill in that gap, or, you know, neutral electric swapping on Slowbro. We'll see how it goes. If I'm really crazy, you know, I can run an AV Rotom Wash. But he can Thunder Wave, he can Pain Split, he can Will-O-Wisp, Hydro Pump, Defog, like, fantastic utility mon with a fantastic offensive presence. Enough said. Let's go on to the next mon. We have Dracozolt. Now, the fossil mons, I'm not too huge on, sincerely. Aesthetically, I do like a couple of them, but I just think they're really overrated. The players that play them well, don't get me wrong, completely exploited. They're amazing. They are amazing. Some of the best wall breakers in the game, if not the best wall breakers of Gen 8. But with just their 75 speed, you know, I always ran, in VGC, they would run the Whimsicott Tailwind and then just Dracozolt or Dracovish and just spam Vicious Rend or Bolt Beak. I would just fake out the Whimsicott, then Draco them and get rid of them. But that's not going to be the case here because only one person has Dragapult, you know, so a Choice Scarf Dracozolt might be fantastic, but we can definitely utilize his amazing ability, Hustle. Now, he's a bit of a gamble, but, you know, it reduces accuracy by 20%, but hey, that means we win 80% of the time, right? I kind of like those odds. With Bolt Beak, you know, if he goes first, hits really hard. With Slowbro being able to set a Trick Room, his mediocre 75 speed can make him a menace in Trick Room. If my opponent's playing hyper offense and has max speed on everything, and I get him to go first, I can just run with a Life Orb and just spam whatever I want. Because with that Hustle boost and Life Orb, I'm at 1.8. My attack is, well, I'm not sure if Life Orb does attack or power, but regardless, we'll just say the Hustle and Life Orb together is 1.8 times, you know, my attack. That's crazy. Just being able to enter the battlefield and nearly be on a swords dance and start crushing things. Enough said, let's go to the next one. We have Togekiss. This is my ground immunity, and Togekiss doesn't deserve too much of an explanation either because she has great stats, great defensive stats, and a fantastic offensive presence. Bit of a mediocre speed stat, but it doesn't matter. Togekiss has fantastic coverage with having Serene Grace, being able to spam Air Slash and have a 60% flinch chance. Every time she does, she can also Wish Pass, she can Defog, and she learns Nasty Plot, and just her move pull is fantastic. Sincerely, I didn't see a reason why not to add her to my team, and she'll pair well with those Earthquakes coming in on my electric types. Let's on to the next mon. We got Grimmsnarl here. Now, I love Grimmsnarl. Aesthetically, stat, ability, everything about him. The Dark Fairy typing is fantastic for offensive coverage because there's not a whole lot of things that resist both of those simultaneously. But let's look at his stats real quick. Base 95 HP, not bad. 120 attack, fantastic. Love that. 120 is very, very respectable. Defenses are lackluster, but of course, everyone knows you can run screens on Grimmsnarl to negate that. But also the beauty with Grimmsnarl, with him having Prankster, we can run Bulk Up. If we really want to be weird, we can run Nasty Plot and really exploit the special attack stat and just get it rolling, you know, because ×2 at 95 is a fantastic position to be in at any moment in a game. But I think overall bulk up will be the way to go. You never know, if I need some more special coverage, I could run that nasty plot set. So he's going to be kind of our mind game. Along with Slowbro being able to fulfill 3 roles effectively, Grimmsnarl can fulfill many roles effectively as a screen setter, a sweeper, substitute, get behind the substitute, deal some good damage, whatever it may be. Let's go on to the next bit of draft mons. To complement the bulky offense trick room vibe that we're kind of going for, I picked Copperajah. I love Copperajah. Aesthetically, just the standard steel typing. Now, what's great about that, what we're doing with this draft league, Dynamax is not going to be a thing, I believe. I believe Dynamax is banned in this. So we can run Heavy Metal, and that will pretty much make Heavy Slam and Heat Crash 120 base power on 80% of the meta. It'll nearly hit everything full power, and that's going to be our 2 most spammable moves. Sheer Force, again, is a fantastic ability with him learning Play Rough, Iron Head. No, I really think that's about it. But still, Sheer Force is fantastic, and that Play Rough is a real big kind of like fake out. You don't see it coming, but the Gen 8's been around long enough to see it coming at this point, but Heavy Metal's always the way to go. And his stats, too, the 122 base HP is fantastic. And if you plan on, you're like, hey, I'm going to have him wall. We'll say we're going to run an Assault Vest set. I want to wall special attackers. You got that base 69 defense, which is awful. But we max invest that, We're at 237 now at +1 with that Assault Vest. That puts you at like roughly 350 SPDF, and you got a 385 HP stat. That's nuts. And then just do max SPDF, max HP. What are those IVs doing? Put him at 31. You got base 359 attack. Especially if you even run him. Let's max it out. We'll go Adamant. Adamant or Brave. More likely Brave. We're going Trick Room. And you got 394 attack stat with, the ability to wall most special attacks, which is fantastic. Copperajah is going to break through some walls. Next up, we have Snorlax. He doesn't really deserve too much of an explanation. Now, we'll start with his abilities. We have Immunity, which will, make him immune to being poisoned, which will stack really well with Slowbro. At least in Gen 7, a lot of people like to Toxic Stall him, because especially if you're on Slack Off, he's really hard to kill if your super effective attacker is taken out. So I can run him with Immunity to be my Toxic switch-in. We can have Thick Fat, if someone's like running Darmanitan. Trying to think of what... There's a handful of good Fire and Ice types. So if someone's going to run Galarian Darmanitan and spam Icicle Crash, I could always do max defense and have him be the pivot. Not the best idea, but it's a thing. It's a thought, not a thing. It'll never be a thing. It's just a thought. And then Gluttony, of course, for the Curse-Lax set. And his stats are amazing. 160 HP, 110 attack, 65 defense. Terrible. 160 HP, though, fantastic. The defense is pretty decent with that HP pairing. And then 110 SPDF. He walls almost all special attackers as long as they have a super effective hit against him. There's a lot of fun sets we can run with him. We can run Curse-Lax, Recycle, Assault Vest, Bandit if we're feeling really crazy. He's just an overall really fantastic mon. On to the next one. My pride and joy. I love Torkoal. I'm in love with the turtle. And he's been really good with me in Wi-Fi battles for VGC and singles. And I've done a lot of funny stuff with him, like 1v1 to +2 attack Gyarados. Because of the drought stacking with a Lava Plume burn. But his stats, his abilities drought, okay? I'm not running him with anything else. It's drought. We're not going to look at the abilities. So stats. Base 70 HP. It's 70 HP. It's not good. It's not terrible. But we would always invest it, So that base 70, we got 344 HP rocking out, which ain't too bad. 140 base defense. Amazing. Completely uninvested. 316 defense. He can really eat up physical hits. Most physical hits will be a 2-hit KO if they're super effective. Most. And then we have the pitiful special defense stat of 70. So Torkoal can learn a great variety of moves like Eruption. If I run Trick Room, I can run with Choice Specs or not Life Orb. They won't go with Eruption, but Choice Specs, Eruption, or Charcoal Eruption. We can run him as a Rapid Spin to clear hazards. We can run him as a Stealth Rock setter. We can run him with an Assault Vest and be just kind of like an annoying special attacking spammer, because luckily I got that Togekiss for Wish Passing, and then the upcoming Wigglytuff for Wish Passing too, which Wigglytuff is not going to be my premier Wish Passer, but it could be a thing. But yeah, versatile mon, keep your opponent on their toes. Next up, we have Hatterene. I haven't used too much Hatterene, but I respect her. I've versed a lot of Hatterene. I got crushed by a handful of Hatterenes. Her HP is terrible, but we'll always do max HP to maximize her bulk. And with her speed tier and her special attack stat, fantastic offensive Trick Room attacker. Amazing. 136 special attack. That's nuts. It's going to be hitting a little less hard than a, Ash Greninja. Unfortunately, she doesn't get that guaranteed insane speed, so, Trick Room doesn't have to be up to go first. But she has fantastic coverage. Typical stuff. Psychic Fairy is a great typing. She can learn Nuzzle. I didn't know that. That's kind of neat. But yeah, just a special attacker, another Trick Room setter, maybe even another Thunder Waver. Who knows? We'll see how my team matchups are and what I decide to run her as. And next up, because I kind of looked at my team, I was like, man, I need a good fighting type, because fighting typing coverage is a must-have. I got a second last pick, Lucario, which I think is a really solid pick at being, near the end of the draft and whatnot. And Lucario is really cool. Let's look at his abilities. So we have Steadfast, which will prevent flinching. We're doing singles. I'm not really too concerned about it. Then Inner Focus, which, again, we're not really too worried about flinching. Not really too worried about Intimidate if I choose to run him as a special attacker. Then we have Justified, which will probably be more than likely, unless I'm a special attacker, Justified will be the way to go. I could even run him Justified as a special attacker to pressure people to swap into their physically defensive mons and have him get smashed by a special attack. So let's look at his stats real quick. HP 70. So, whatever. 110 attack and 115 special attack. This 115 special attack pairs excellent with the fighting typing because he gets Vacuum Wave, which is a priority special fighting type attack. It's funny because I believe he's the only one that uses this that is actually worth a damn, because 40 power with stab, 60 power, 115 special attack. That will be a fantastic hit super effectively against the majority of steel types, because steel types are typically physically defensive, not specially. So if they're not Assault Vest or anything like that, we're looking at probably a solid 40 to 50% big hit if he's max special attack. And paired with that, his base 90 speed is pretty solid because my team's relatively slow. So if I choose to, I can run with a Life Orb, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, or if I just want him to stay alive, I could always run him with Leftovers or a Berry, a Shuckle Berry, something like that. And he learns Nasty Plot too, which is fantastic for setting up and pressuring people to get rid of this guy. And yeah, that's really about it. Another great Steel type, immune to poison. Steel type's great. On to the next one, Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is incredible. Not competitively speaking, I'm just straight, just unbiased, uncompetitive opinion. Wigglytuff made me the man who I am today. Okay, Wigglytuff is the Tiggly man. Okay, I am the embodiment of Wigglytuff. I am the speaking voice of this little 2D sprite, and that's just how it be. That's just how it is. If Wigglytuff was human, she would have a gold watch, she would have a Gengar chain, and she would have an Adidas Pokemon collab t-shirt, which I got for my girlfriend for Valentine's Day. Shout out to Carly. And she would wear, of course, an obnoxious snapback with a gold logo. That's how it is. Now, let's look at her amazing abilities, the best abilities in the game. We have Cute Charm. I won't use that. We have Competitive. Now, Competitive's kind of cool. I take back what I say about the best abilities. I'm just trying to gas up Wigglytuff a little bit because she's extraordinarily underwhelming. But if someone chooses to run Intimidate against my heavy-hitting physical attackers, well, I can predict their Intimidate and just throw out Wigglytuff and get my +2 special attack, which isn't too crazy because her special attack's only 85, but luckily, Wigglytuff gets a fantastic move pull, and if I choose to run her with something of the sorts of Life Orb or Choice Specs, get the competitive boost with Choice Specs that puts me at 2.5 times special attack, and just spam one move until there's no tomorrow. Just put as much work as I can with her. But she has just a very normal typing, which is a Ghost immunity, which is fantastic. But we got Dazzling Gleam. I really wish she learned Moonblast. We have Fire Blast, Ice Beam. I think she gets Blizzard, right? No, maybe I'm wrong. Or is that in the unviable moves? Usually useless. Yeah, she gets Blizzard. She gets Thunderbolt. She gets Thunder too. Let me check and see if it's usually useless moves. Curious. Yep, there's Thunder. So she gets all the heavy hitting, typical nature attacks, Fire Blast, Thunder, Blizzard. So we can really press our odds with accuracy and just try to get the heaviest hits off possible. She can also Wish Pass. She can also Stockpile. If I really wanted to be crazy, I could run Screens with Grimmsnarl and Stockpile with her and try to set up what I can. I really wish she could learn Calm Mind, but we're going to have to bank on the competitive boost to allow her to have any sort of offensive presence. Other than that, she's going to be kind of a meme. But yeah, guys, I really hope you take the time to really look into this 2020 International Challenge. And if you haven't picked up doing VGC, there are plenty of videos of online. There's plenty of rental codes online. Pick up a team, punch in the rental code, play online, have some fun. Make sure you link your Nintendo and Pokemon account, and I hope to see you in the ladder. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Later, guys.